Hello, here is Ying. Welcome to my IOL Folio2 reflective video. In Folio2, I wanted to gain a deeper understanding of how to express emotions more visibly in dynamic lines based on 12 principles of animation. The biggest difficulty in the process is how to identify a good method without getting stuck in a fixed mindset, and thus discover more animation techniques in the process. It is possible that I limited to one of the 12 principles and neglected the possibility to achieve the required goal by using different methods. In that process, I choose to iterate on the shot from Studio 3 project to optimize the animation for better performance according to the 12 principles of animation. In the process, I discovered the use of motion paths, thinking time, and delay expression. I also found that using of lighting and texture properly can make the animation workflow smarter. Overall, the iterative process of Folio2 will give me a better understanding about the representation of emotion by using dynamic lines, shapes, and trend, and a more precise control over the output of different level of emotion. The final result of the exercise will be directly shown in Studio 3 project. The purpose of Folio2 is also to enable me to become more familiar with the emotion expression in animation, and likewise my future career path will benefit from such training. My Folio2 meets the requirement of motion of play. These emotions on these shots are not limited on facial expression, but also in the dynamic trend, the inertia of movement. Unlike Folio1, in Folio2 I will focus on optimizing the animation for better performance based on the 12 principles of animation. The optimization includes optimizing the way of understanding dynamic movement, exploring different drawing process, and feasibility of animation methods. In my Studio 3 project, the expression of emotions through character movement is an essential element, so I will continue to iterate on the shot from it. By analyzing the technique required to express each emotion according to the 12 principles, the iteration process in Folio2 would have a clear idea of what to do, then iterate directly by feeling. In week 7, based on the class content, and consider a recurrent problem with the subject of my IOL, I always unconsciously move my focus to aesthetic part rather than the feeling of movement during iteration process. Some of the cases of this problem are, for example, I'm confident with my animation skill, easy to lock in similar expression way, afraid big changes which would be the wrong direction, or afraid the iterations give the wrong result. Subverting ways depend on the sentence said by Evan. The animation is not draw beautiful but feel beautiful, so I decided to iterate the movement with simple geometric shape first depending on 12 principles of animation. For the iteration in week 7, the distance I choose is about characters flying with joy under a black curtain of hanging star. I wanted to emphasize their happiness and joyness. Depending on the original version, I determined their motion paths based on the character's head and replaced the drawing with solid shape. Then I added in between frames to increase the fluency of movement. Depend on previous iterating. In fourth one, I adjusted the position of geometric shape in order to fix the tendency of inertia when they fly. When characters fly over the star, I want to have a pose in the middle to show that the character is looking curiously at the star. This pose is supported by the secondary action method in 12 principles of animation. Such a pose would make the emotion clear. When the main part moves, the movement of the auxiliary part can highlight the character's personality. For example, in this case, to show the excitement and curiosity as character enter the environment. Then I add the in-between frames in the pose section to make this emotion easier to observe. When I showed the process to Evan, he thought that the trend doesn't represent enough emotion and strength. He recommended that I use the timing chart to visualize the location of keyframes, which would be more informative than just drawing from my imagination. In Tonico's videos, there is similarly explained that timing chart can be used to visualize keyframes and have a clear idea of what to draw next. Instead, Evan recommended to directly hand-draw the trace of movement and subsequently draw the keyframe position on that path. This definitely optimizes the process of converting from animation to linear formula, makes the timing easier and observed intuitively. Based on this approach, I optimized the animation. The character fly from far to near, give a flight path on different height, would have more impact than flying at the same altitude. Same method as I said, focus on the basic geometric shape drawing first, adjust the timing and trend of movement, then keep iterating. In this shot, I wanted the cat to come across an anxious and powerless feeling. Finally, grab the girl's tail and being forced to the sky. There is a big difference between the girl and the cat in this shot. The girl is more like to leave with careless, and here I lengthen the actions of departing of the girl based on the principle of anticipation. In subsequent iterations, I add the delay effect in 1 to 2 frames to emphasize the fact that the cat is very reluctant to see the girl leave and is trying to jump on her. This delay allows for a power to build up while watching the animation, and the emotion would outburst in the next movement. I inspired the emotion delay from Michelle Cole's work. In her animations, the two shapes are given a short period of time to slow down before they begin to move. It allows the subsequent rapid animation to build up momentum. I did 2 more iterations of the scenes based on the previous summary. Again, drawing the animation according to the geometric form decided on the path of the motion, visualizing keyframes by using timing chat, adjusting animation using the 12 principles of animation, and emotions delay. Depending on the idea of stillness and pause, the first thing I did was to revise the original storyboard after taking this class. The original setting in the scenes was switched from close shot to down shot and then full shot. This close, far close camera movement makes the section look cluttered. In order to make the overall story seem calmer, I choose to make the camera angle gradually close up from extremely established shot to close shot. The iteration scenes in week 8 is a clip depicting the two characters relaxing on the grass and hear the wind blow after they are exhausted from playing. And it is also a transition shot to the next scene that the character will say the final goodbye. I wanted this shot to give a feeling of relaxing, but loneliness at the same time. In the beginning, I thought the expression of calming emotions would be to draw as few parts moving as possible, but the event hints that if the wind was blowing, then the clothes would move according to the position of the joints, but all the lines would have different amount of movement. The importance of pivot point is explicitly shown in animation with principal reference, and such examples are similar to the crease point of clothing in sketches. Among the available examples, the clip from Indonesia Final shows the correlation between amplitude and pivot point. Based on this reference, I reiterate the animation depends on the direction of the wind and the pivot point, makes the count of this shot readable. The animation tone bone shows the contrast between two lifestyles, in which light and shadow equally influence the atmosphere expressed on both sides. The left side has a grayish and dark tone, while the right side has a diffuse feeling of lightning. This contrast creates two different story tones. Therefore, based on the content in week 10, I choose to experience the relationship between different lightning and emotional expression. This iterated shot in the animation depicts the moment that the family gives the response to the cat after the ghost left. The emotion in this moment is full of peace, mourning, and mixed with sadness. The first lightning as reference Rembrandt's drawing. The underlightning adds a sense of mystery to the entire scene by setting up unnatural light. The bright part attracts visual focus. The lightning works in my animation as well, but overall the feeling of mystery seems to cover the sadness. Second one has been taken as a metaphor for people would gradually accept the loss of lives. A stage-like lightning is used to emphasize the interaction between the family and the cat. Death enveloping them at the same time, and they are isolated from the outside world, immersed in the process of relieving sadness. Through these interactions, I feel the great impact that lightning can have on the mood of the story. Sometimes it is smarter to use lightning to express emotions rather than draw complex movements. In my IOL project, my essential aspect is to investigate how the movement expresses the emotions and how to emphasize it. So for week 11, I choose to iterate the previous animation with texture effort. I inspired by Justin King's Little Point. The crayon style is used in this animation to distinguish imagination from reality. At the same time, it makes the piece of fantasy full of childishness, in line with the naive imagination from character. I choose to work on the studio pieces where the little girl and the cat end their playground play and move into a quieter environment. The scenes before this shot is a very intense and noise playful scenes, followed by a calm, relaxing scenes. How to transition the emotion naturally is the question that need to be addressed in these iterations. My goal with IOL is to use 12 principles of animation to increase the expression of emotion in movement through iteration. My biggest concern was that I was focusing too much on one approach and neglecting to try something different method. This scene is about the cat jump up on the table and try to rub up against the girl, and the girl didn't respond and just leave, causing the kitten to fall off the table. I want to convey the cat's dependence on the girl, as well as the cat's surprise and disappointed when the girl walked away. During the iterations, I focused too much on the 12 principles, and this result is that the animation did express enough frustration. After the consultation with Evan, he said the character is not only falling when it's realized he's falling. It's a popular method used in chunk drawings animation. When the character doesn't realize that there is a cliff break ahead, the character will keep running forward until the character realizes it and then proceed to the next series of action. This makes the animation more dramatic and also emphasizing the personality of the character. Depending on those references, I reiterated the sequence. The result is that the connection with the subsequent sequences is more reasonable, and the frustrated emotions are shown. The liveliness and the energy of the cat is also displayed visually. Folio2 have similar goal with Folio1. However, unlike Folio1, Folio2 start from 12 principles of animation, which give a more reasonable and moving dynamic tendency to the emotion expressed by itself. With this method in place, the finished product will have a stronger emotional expression. In the iterative process, I also learned a lot of new knowledge, such as delay expression, thinking time, and the use of different timing chats, etc. The process and the knowledge has helped me a lot in my Studio 3 project. It gave me a better understanding of the thinking flow in animation. The end of the semester doesn't mean the practice of animation stopped here. With this study, I become more confident to revise my work in the future. Thanks for this semester.